Good morning, how are we doing? Lovely view this morning. So, I had this question about buffet. Any tips for the buffet, for eating out of a buffet? I tend to do really well, and then I just try and do really well, try and be good, if you like. Whatever that means, more on that another day. But then I find myself just picking, and then just feeling rubbish. Hopeless is what they say. First off, this is like, the research will show that you're more likely to do that by default anyway. Now, first I want to say that you've got number one, give yourself permission to have whatever you want. Like, at the end of the day, we're adults, right? We have these choices we can make. And I just want to first say this before we go into it, because there's consequences and benefits to nearly every choice we make. Like this morning, I can get up really early and I can get some stuff done before my day, and then I've got a bit more kind of in check for the rest of the day. I can lunge across here, which I have. I'm not doing it right now. It's the opposite. Running, you lunge across the beach. I have no idea why. I feel like I feel threatened when I lunge. I shouldn't feel like that. Good to get talking. So, anyway, where was I? To the buffet. So, and there's consequences and benefits of doing this. Like, if I didn't get up early, there would be stuff I need to get done later. Doing stuff with family, friends, etc. So, going back to this though, it's okay to look at a buffet, etc. But going more specifically, this is like tips that I could do today about kind of really changing things now. So these are the types of things that we'll be going over in our pre-Christmas habit challenge, which starts Monday the 28th of November. Monday the 28th of November. So, now, the first thing to consider with this is, know that when you're facing more choice, although we kind of crave more choice, we think we crave more choice, I don't want to restrict it, do anything like that. But when we're actually faced with choices in life in general, if you think about it, we tend to run into inaction. Like, what's the best photo out of these 10 million photos that I've taken of the sea? Like things like that. It's like we've taken so many. It's like, whereas before you had your little clicker camera, it's like, right, I'm not wasting another photo of the sea. I've already taken a photo. I've only got 10 left for the whole time we're here. Like, whereas now it's like we've got so many, and then you're like, oh, that was nice, that was good, that's good. And it's the same when we go to a buffet. It's like, we've all been there. You walk around, it's like, oh my god, they've got that, they've got steak, they've got a grill, they've got Chinese chicken wings, they've got this rice dish. I really like sushi. I haven't had that in ages. Then we start piling up our plate, and then we go into this mode of, I don't want to waste food and things like that. Then we're stood near the buffet. That's another one to be wary of. When you're stood near the buffet, you're likely to eat more. When you're stood with people eating while standing at the buffet, you're likely to eat more. It just gives you permission to have. Just be aware of this. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be aware of this. Am I eating that just because they've eaten that? Mirror people. Yeah. You are who you eat with, as one study said. And just consider that there's a variety of reasons why we eat more at a buffet. One being that we don't get taste fatigue. This comes back to decisions a little bit, which I'll go into in a second. But taste fatigue, if you think about, like, I love like Chinese chicken wings in general. If you just gave me a plate of chicken wings, there's only so many I'd eat before I get quite bored of chicken wings, right? Whereas if you go, I'll give you chicken wings and some sides, coleslaw on there as well, sides and chips, things like that, you'll tend to be less bored of the chicken wings because you're getting more variety in your plate, not palate. And I'm not saying like don't ever have variety, but this is shown in research. So they often use macaroni and cheese for research because one, it's cheap, two, most people tend to like it, and it's quite palatable as well. But what they find is, if you give people macaroni and cheese, they'll eat so much of it, then they'll get a bit more after a while. It might take a while for some, but either way. Then though, if you give them macaroni and cheese with some sides like chips, etc., they'll get less bored of the macaroni and cheese because they'll go from one to the next, and then they'll go in again with a bit more macaroni and cheese. And they actually end up eating more macaroni and cheese when they've got sides with it, especially if it's something that's like chips and things like that, rather than some vegetables. But the cool thing about this is, although variety makes us eat more, we can flip this. Instead of going into restrictive mode and flip it and go, okay, variety makes us eat more. Can I, in general, try and eat more variety of vegetables? Because I'm likely to eat more. If you think about what happens when we give kids like a variety of vegetables, they're more likely to find one that they like rather than I don't like. You never eat veg, and it goes into a big thing. Whereas if we have a variety, then they're more likely to find one that they like. And it's similar, we can flip this to work for us. But going back to our decision, how we tend to kind of think we want choice, but really we don't want to. One of the tips I would say is go in with some expectations. Don't go in just trying to be good. Can you go in and say, you know, I'm going to look for a lean protein source if it's depends on the type of buffet as well. I'm going to try and get a good protein source in. I'll try and get lots of vegetables in. And then whatever's left, I'll choose my carbohydrate. Like walk around the buffet first, then make your choice. Rather than pile high, then worry about food waste, etc. Which we've all done. But at the same time, going back to my first point today, when you're setting your expectations, you can also set your expectations to go, you know, I'm going to eat whatever I want right now. I'm giving myself permission to have it, and I'm going to be okay with that. Sure, it might take me a bit further away from my results, but that's a choice I'm happy to make. It's not going to be the end of the world. And actually, how we respond to this is the key thing. Am I going to beat myself up and go, actually, no, I've messed it up now, I might as well mess up the whole weekend? Or am I just going to go, I've chosen to have this at one meal, I'm choosing to stop there, I'm going to really enjoy it. Because it's being aware, like, if you're at the buffet and you're eating, going, oh goodness, why have I got no willpower? I'm not doing it. What's the point of even doing it? When you really become mindful, you're not even enjoying it. You might as well go, okay, how am I feeling right now? Am I actually enjoying this right now? Yes, no. Yes, maybe I am. Maybe this is what I actually need right now. And guess what? Just go back to eating normally straight after. That's it. Just go back to eating normally after that. Well, sure, you can compensate if you want to. That's a choice. That's down to you and on that. But that's a few things you can look at. Can I load my plate up with a variety of protein and veggies? More likely, they're probably going to feel more satisfied. But that's only if it's aligning with where you want to be, who you want to be. Then it comes into a whole new debate of, you know, I want to fit in, I want to more. But ultimately, when we say things like I want to lose weight and get fit, and actually mean it, that's technically not normal, especially this time of year, because the majority of people will put on around 10 to 13 pounds. So technically, we're saying one thing, our actions won't align with it, because that's not normal. Normal is putting on weight during this time of year, there's nothing wrong with doing it at all. Like one of the days at work, she has a bar that she sets. She's like, you know, if I get above this weight, I know I just need to rein it in, which will be quite flexible. That's just her way of doing it. It's fine. She's actually setting her expectations. She will gain some weight during this time. She's like, I'm happy with that. I can't get the training in I want to. I want some meals out, time away. I enjoy that. I'm just going to set the bar here. I know I can make decisions when I'm out and about. I can still make sure I don't have to eat the whole plate. All these things, practicing, being more mindful of meal times, etc. And in between, more importantly. So there's some key points in there. And just to summarise, make that choice that you want to make. That's the key thing. Do what makes you happy. Is this something that am I people pleasing, or am I pleasing myself with this decision? I think that's what it comes down to. So I hope that helps. Any questions, let me know. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you soon. Take care.